Hello, everybody, and welcome to another day in our YouTube series, Proverbs, a God's Encouragement for You. Today, we are going to be looking into Proverbs chapter 3. So, without further ado, let's open up and get started. And for those who are following along with me, I am reading from the ESV version, so there is no confusion. So, if you'd like to follow with me in that version, that's awesome. If not, totally okay. So, let's open up in verse 1. Starting chapter 3, it says, "My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life, and a peace they will be added to you." Verse 3 says, "Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, so you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man." Now, this next one is one that a lot of you probably know of, and it's a very popular Proverbs in chapter 3. Starts on with verses 5 through 7. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." So before we continue, let's kind of dig into these first few verses. So we look at the first two verses. It says, "My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you." So we see here that it's talking about how important it is to have wisdom. Not just any wisdom, but the wisdom that God gives us. That the wisdom that we learn and we take to heart will be prosperous to us throughout our lives. And that's what it's kind of saying here. And then 3 through 4, it says, "Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, so you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man." Now, this one is just putting such a strong emphasis on what it means to take hold of these truths and these wisdoms that we learn in our daily lives from God. And here it says, "Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart." Now, obviously, it's not being literal, but it's an emphasis of you should keep it close to you. Keep it with you at all times. Keep it as a necklace on if these wisdoms that you have, if you were to even make a necklace out of it, bind it on the tablet of your heart, tattoo or something, I don't know, just anything. Just make sure you have these close with you so you can learn from them and then also give them to other people. And I just love how they just make such a strong emphasis on that. And then 5 through 6 is some of my favorite. This is probably my favorite verses in all of Proverbs 3. It's something that probably a lot of you have learned when you guys were in school. It's something that I learned since I was a kid. But just the verse saying, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths." Now, this verse is so important. And it's a verse I love reading every day. But trust in the Lord with all your heart. Not just with some of your heart, but it's talking about trusting the Lord with everything you have. Even in the hard things, trusting him with literally everything. Not being "Okay, God, I give you this, but I'm not ready to give you this." No. He's saying you have to give him everything. Trust him with your whole life, with everything you have. And do not lean on your own understanding. Another way of just saying, put your complete faith and trust in God. Do not lean on your own ways of understanding what might be happening in that situation. If there's something going on, no, I can figure this out. I don't need God. No, he wants you to completely put his faith and trust in him in this situation. And in all your ways, acknowledge him. Acknowledge that God is with you, that he is always going to be with you. And when we acknowledge him and put our complete faith and trust in God, he will make our paths straight. He will straighten our paths. Because we live in a life where so many things can happen. They can be going left, right, up, and down. But when we put our faith in Christ, our faith in Jesus, he will help straighten our paths and make it easier travel for us. And that's just a verse that I love reading. And if you guys get anything out of this episode, I want you guys to get that. Just make sure we are completely putting our complete trust and faith in God every single day of our lives, in everything we do, giving our everything to God. That's what's most important in our lives. So let's continue. Starting at verse 7, we'll read down to about verse 12. It says, "Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, or be weary of his reproof. For the Lord reproves him who he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights. Now, this is a really cool cool passage to look into. So when it says, "Be not wise in your own eyes," in other ways, don't be prideful, don't be selfish. When you think, you don't act like you know everything, because we don't. We'll never know everything. And be honest, that's something that I have struggled with my life. I used to be like that, and sometimes I still am. I can still sometimes be like, I know what's going on. I know how to fix this. No, I don't. But that's just such a good reminder to not be prideful in our eyes. Be weary and trustful in God's timing and his plans. Because our plans compared to his are nothing. His plans will always be better than our plans. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Just another emphasis on like when we follow God's plan for our lives and when we do what God calls us to do, it's so much better than what our plans are. Because our plans are always going to fail. We're always going to mess up. We're always going to fail. That there's no changing that. But when we follow God's plan, it is perfect and it will never change. It is always perfect. It will always have the same effect on us. And it will be perfect in every way. It can't change that. But his plans will always be better than ours. So don't forget that. Verse 9 through 10, I highlighted this verse because this was a verse I memorized back in college and in high school as well. And it was just really cool to really read this verse. It says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will be bursting with wine." So one thing I get out of this verse is it kind of reminds me of how the Bible talks about how God calls us to tithe 10% of everything we have, giving 10% back to God, because everything we have was given to us by God, and the least that we could do is give some back to God. Now obviously he doesn't need money or anything like that, but the way to say it is use your wealth to help other people. If you're wealthy and you have all this money or you have all this stuff, be generous and give it to people who are in need, and like give it back to the church and see how God can use that money or whatever you give them to help other people and bless other people and give glory to God. That's kind of what it's saying here. It's just a really cool encouragement saying that we should honor God with our wealth. Don't be stingy with our wealth. Be like, oh look, I have all this money, I'm gonna do whatever I want with it. I mean, we have free will. We could do that, but it's not the smartest thing that we could do with our money. To be honest, when I was younger, that was something I struggled with. I was like, this is all my money. I'm going to spend on all this stuff. And when I was younger, I didn't tithe. I didn't do that a lot. And it's so important to tithe. Like, definitely, like I'm telling you guys, if you guys don't tithe at church or just weekly, I encourage you guys. It is something that you guys definitely should do. I encourage you guys to do it. I'm not going to force you guys to do it, but I encourage you guys. It's something that you should absolutely do. It's so good for you guys. And it's so cool to see how God could use that wealth and money, that stuff, to bless and help other people, including yourself. So, verse 11 through 12, the last part of this section, it says, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline or be weary of his reproof. For the Lord reproves him who he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights." Now, reproof is another way of like talking about like discipline, like how God disciplines us in our lives, just how a parent disciplines their child to make better decisions. It's the same thing that it's talking about. Do not despise when God disciplines you. He's doing it out of complete love for you. Just how our parents, they don't discipline us or punish us because they hate us. They do it out of love because they want you to not make the same mistake in your life and to learn from that mistake. And they do it completely out of love. And that's what it's saying here. And it's cool to see that literally God, who is our Father, he treats us like a parent because he is our heavenly parent. And it's just really cool. I love it. It's so cool. All right, let's get into our next section. Titled, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom." So now it's talking, this section is going to be opening up into how people who do open up to wisdom and take it to heart, how they can be blessed by God and how God can bless these people. So let's open up with the first couple verses. Verse 13, it starts off saying, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than the gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. Now, I love the analogy that they use here, but it's also true. Like, wisdom that we get and understanding, especially for God, is more precious and more worthy than any precious gold or metal or silver that we could ever have. It is so, like, precious, and it's worth so much. And that's what it's saying here. It's just so cool to read that. Verse 15, it says, she is more precious than jewels. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Once again, it's talking about how valuable this wisdom can be. It's more valuable than jewels. It's more valuable than any physical thing we have on this planet. It's so valuable. Starting verse 16, long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Now, once again, it's just talking to give a more emphasis on how profitable and how special this wisdom really is. Just give it, like, from our view, like, in reality, we could never fully understand how important and amazing this wisdom is, but they're putting it into words that we could understand. Like, we think of jewels and all this stuff as, like, super, like, valuable, right? But to think that this wisdom is more valuable than gold, than jewels, some of the most expensive material on the planet, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. But that's what it's saying here. Like, long life is in her right hand, and her left hand are riches and honor. When we take in this wisdom that we've been blessed by God, it will help us produce long life. Not maybe physically, but spiritually, long life. And to be able to spread that to other people. It's so cool to see that, and I love it. Starting in verse 18, I love this. This is cool. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed. So this wisdom is like a tree of life, kind of like the tree in Garden of Eden. It's like a tree of life that gives us life, eternal life. But it's so important that we take hold of this, because without it, it's like, what is there, right? But the wisdom God gives us is more unimaginably powerful than anything we could ever experience in this world. Verse 19, the Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge the deeps broke open, and the clouds dropped down their dew. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul, and adornment for your neck. So once again, it's just talking about how important it is that we take in this wisdom that we get, whether that's from people that God has brought into our lives, or even specifically from God, that this wisdom is so important, and stuff that we learn is so important that we take to heart what we learn. Especially when we're like reading the Bible, there is so much wisdom in this Bible. There's so much wisdom that God gives us in here. And it's like, I encourage you, I implore you. It's like what it's saying here. I implore you to take this wisdom and just take what knowledge you can out of it and go and bless others, because it will bless you in the long run. Verse 23, then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or the ruin of the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, and when it is in your power to do it. There's so much that I could open up into this. I could go on for hours on all of this. It's just so much. But verse 21, my son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul. Oh, I already read that. Verse 23, it will walk on you securely, and your foot will not stumble. When we walk in the wisdom of God through what we read in the Bible, it's like a flashlight. Like when we're walking on a dark path, or like walking around a house and it's dark, we want to turn the lights on where it can light up our path, right? That's exactly what it's saying here. This wisdom is like a light. It's like a flashlight for us. so we don't stumble when we fall in the dark. We can see where we're walking so we don't stumble. And in the darkness, when we sleep in the dark, we won't be afraid because we know who is with us. We know that God is right there with us, protecting us. He is our shield and our protector. And do not be afraid of sudden terror or of the ruin of the wicked when it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Once again, just another emphasis on like how we can have this faith in God through what he has given us in this Bible, that he is our shield and our fortress and our protector in those dark times, in the darkness of ruin. We have nothing to be afraid of because God is and always will be that awesome protector and shield for us. Starting verse 28, do not say to your neighbor, go and come again, tomorrow I will give it, when you have it with you. Do not plan evil against your neighbor, who dwells trustfully beside you. Do not contend with a man for no reason, when he has done you no harm. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways, for the devious person is an abomination to the Lord, but the upright are in his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the household of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Now, this is taking us to a whole different scenario, but it's also so important. Like, opening verse 20, do not say to your neighbor, go and come again tomorrow, I will give it when you have it with you. It's talking about, like, don't lie. I mean, obviously, that's one of the 10 commandments that God calls us to obey. Say, do not lie to your neighbor. Do not commit this lie. Do not lie, just in general. But like, if you owe someone something and you have it, do not try to keep it to yourself and be like, oh, I'll have it tomorrow. If you have it, give it to them. Be honest, because if you are honest with someone, that honesty that trustworthiness will last a lifetime. But if you break that trust, it can be hard to get back. And I know this from experience. I've had people in my life that have broken my trust, and I've broken their trust as well. And it's hard to get that trust back. And some of those people, I haven't gotten their trust back. And that's just because I made the wrong choice. I lied to them, and I was dishonest with them. But be honest with yourselves and be honest with people. If you have something to give someone, give it back to them. Don't hold back. That's Satan trying to pull out that greed in you. Don't let that fall. Verse 29, do not plan evil against your neighbor, who dwells trustfully beside you. Another way I like reading this is like, don't hold grudges against somebody. Like, if we're all going to make mistakes, we all fail at some point in our lives. So if they make a mistake, don't hold a grudge and don't try to seek revenge against them. Like, look what Jesus would do. Forgive them and send them on their way and be that light to that person. Don't hold a grudge against them. I mean, Jesus was crucified. You didn't see him strike them down with lightning, which he had every right to. But don't hold grudges against people, because we're always going to make mistakes. But be loving and show them the true love of Christ through that. Especially if they are right next to you. If they are trustworthy next to you and they make a mistake, help them. Be like, hey, you know what? I know you made a mistake and I forgive you. Let me help you so you don't make that mistake again. Verse 30, do not contend with a man for no reason when he has done you no harm. Once again, don't seek violence or revenge against someone who really hasn't done anything against you. Maybe you've heard bad things about them, but if they have nothing to do with you, then you have no right to go seek vengeance against them. But show the love of Christ to them. That's the most important thing you can ever do with somebody. Show the love of Christ to them so they can see what it means to be a Christian. Right. Okay, we got two more verses. Verse 34-35 says, toward the scourgers he is scornful, but the humble he gives favor. The wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. So just opening up back, starting at verse 33. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Another thing I love about this is it's telling us, like, we should not seek justice. That is God's choice to do. It is not our choice to make justice against somebody else, but that is God's. Only God can do that. But when we let God do that, those he has seen as blessed, He will bless them with rewards. So don't seek vengeance against someone, because only God can seek vengeance against someone. But do the right thing and let God take care of it. Trust in God, because He will take care of it. And 35, the wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. When we are wise with our decisions, we are wise with what God has taught us in the Bible, we will be honored. He will be blessed beyond measure. But the fools who don't listen and fall into traps, they will be disgraced. Say they will make mistakes and they will be made fun of. And that's just part of life. It's going to happen. But when that happens, one thing that we can do as believers when we see someone fall like that is to pick them back up and help them and say, hey, it's okay. You are loved and I want to help you. I know that you've done things in your life that you regret, but I want to help you through this. And that's what Jesus would do. And that's what I want to encourage you guys with, is just hold on to that wisdom and make sure you guys are living out that wisdom and giving it to other people. But most importantly, make sure you are trusting God in every aspect of your life, because that is the best kind of, the wisest decision you can ever make is trusting God with every aspect of your life, everything in your life. So if you guys get anything out of this episode, trust in the Lord with everything you have, because that is the best and wisest decision you could ever make in your life. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys have any questions, comments, or anything you guys would like to tell me, just put it in the comments or feel free to DM me on Instagram. All my links are in my bio. But I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day, guys. God bless.